Moody was one of the most, you know, what he spread joy wherever he went. He was such a happy, outgoing, warm, wonderful person. Even, you know, his smile, he had this big smile with all the teeth showing, and he would just light up the place. But apart from that, he was a fabulous musician, and he went through early in life. He had some problems to go to, not mental but physical. He had a speech problem and some other things, which he, you know, really managed to surmount. And from the standpoint of just as a player, I mean, he was tremendous. He was a wonderful tenor player, and his flute playing, I think he was, to me, he is the best jazz flautist of them all. No. And he and Dizzy had a marvelous relationship when it was just the front line was just the two of them, nothing else to intrude, with a good rhythm section. They were a perfect match. And personality-wise too, because they both had a great sense of humor and knew how to make the music really make people respond to the music who might not have had that much insight into, you know, they made what you might call modern jazz, you know, they made it very palatable to an audience that was not really attuned to it. Because they were also, you know, as it is said with a negative meaning, entertainers. Dizzy was an entertainer. He was a born entertainer. You know, when he was in front of his band, he would dance around and he would say funny things. And, you know, in the beginning, he popularized bebop by wearing funny hats and doing stuff, you know. And his scat singing was so humorous. So he and Moody unfortunately didn't record enough of it. Moody was a fine singer, and so, by the way, was Dizzy, when he very rarely just sang without making it, you know, a humorous statement. There's one recording that shows that. It's called "Something in Your Smile," which he sings straight, and it's lovely. Wish he would have done more of that. Moody did a lot of singing, and Moody sang straight. He recorded quite a bit. One particular CD for RCA, for Victor, has quite a bit of singing, of the balancing, but, and I wish he would have recorded that. Of course, he did humorous things. He had his own lyrics to Pennies from Heaven, which was Bennies from Heaven, which was about a questionable paternal thing, paternity. But he also would play things that were humorous in themselves from a musical standpoint, although they were brilliant. One time I heard him do "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at this tempo, you know, like that. Wonderful. But the thing that I wish he would have recorded was, he, like most jazz musicians of his caliber, he had been to Japan and tour and stuff. This was at this club in the Village that doesn't exist anymore, on 7th Avenue South. It had some botanical name, I think. Okay. And he did a pseudo-Japanese vocal on Wave. And oh my God, it was so hilarious. I mean, I almost fell on the floor. It was so funny. Absolutely. Because it was, the pseudo-Japanese was perfect, you know. It did sound like it was the real thing. And like I said about Moody, you know, you would see him. I remember one time there was a Grammy party, you know, with hundreds of people and dozens of people, and you would see Moody, and all of a sudden you would feel, you know, a lot better than you had before. You know, he had that capacity, just like Mr. Sunshine. No, he was a thoroughly sweet guy, you know, from toe to top. You know, he was just a lovely, lovely person, and a fabulous player. I mean, if you caught him in the right setting, you know, he was just terrific. He was an original. His widow is still, you know, she's still active, and they have this festival in New Jersey at the NJ-PAC, which is named for him, which is a good thing. Yeah. He's one of, you know, I really miss Moody, because he'd make you feel good just to see him, you know.